They'll be calling you a radical. A lot to talk about. First and foremost, the Great Salt Lake. I live out there by the edge. That's Fremont Island. You can walk to it. I want people to really understand it is the thumbprint of the Western drought, the Great Basin. It's disappearing so fast. This is spring when it should be rising dramatically. But first and foremost, I want to talk about, is it Google or Grubble now? Google or Grubble? I warned you on Friday the 13th as Barack Obama stood at Stanford and he signed an executive order turning the internet over to Homeland Security. It is not a coincidence. The last 2 weeks, the last few days, it is no coincidence. Facebook, all the online social activists, the anti-nuclear groups, all of them, and YouTube simultaneously crashed. Now all you people that are getting 301 count on all your views, that's the default. And I want to explain something. Google claims they're losing money on YouTube. They baited in it as a bait and switch. They baited you in, paying you $120,000 a year, down to 80, down to 60, down to 40. They destroyed your life through your AdSense account. I knew that a long time ago. When I was in the hospital, they kicked my AdSense account while I was in critical condition, dying in a freaking bone marrow transplant. That's how evil they are. Freaking N.S.A. is taking complete control. I was held in Caldecott. She's not anti-nuclear, by the way. She's a war profiteer. And I would like to say this, Ken Buser's Day, when the mobs turn, and this is my belief system, I believe, I think there's people that do deserve capital punishment. He's one of them. He's the most evil, right? He blew $10 million of wood holes in endowment money. He doesn't have a PhD. He's a con man. They're not anti-nuclears. He's a con man. He's one of the greatest con men. It's evil, evil. So is it Grubble or Google, Grubble or Google? They did it. They pulled it off. Social media, right as we're starting to get traction, documenting the data of the Pacific Ocean, like I've said since the day, dying. I mean, it's dramatic. It's dramatic. And it's being well documented by myself, and by so many people. Everything that I said coming to fruition. They know it. They know it. The N.S.A. is completely hammered on us. Snowden warned us. Snowden told us a year ago that NSA's got complete control. As I listened to Robert Scheer talk at Helen Caldecott, supposedly, he said it. He said it. Nobody knows more than him. He says, the NSA has 100% control over Silicon Valley. By the way, the Mormon Church is N.S.A. Glad he's speaking here tonight at the university right here. So I'll give him an earful, because he's a fraud too, and I'll tell you why he's a fraud. Remember all that data he released in the early days, and he kept saying, I can go nuclear, I can nuclear. He hasn't released anything. He's on the take with NSA too. They've got to him. Greenwald's being paid by the NSA now. I can guarantee it. All these guys are. Snowden told us. He says, oh, I have this. He has baited us for how many years now, Greenwald? Oh, we have this, we're going to release it. He doesn't release anything. He's just war profiteering. He's a fraud. He's a big-time fraud. They've all drank the Kool-Aid. They've all taken the check. They've all wanted. The spiritual leaders are on the take. The media's on the take. Google's on the take. Facebook's on the take. They're all on the fucking take. This is the most corrupt nation in human history. It's not Google, it's Grubble. Freaking fascism on balco. Barry Antoinette, he's just a puppet. They threaten him. They threaten him grotesquely. He tried in the early days. They threatened him. They told him. He sanctioned Steve Chinese jobs to the White House. Says, what about tariffs? He was told to stand up. And that's why I cannot believe that people don't understand this. The people that are on the take, that are taking, don't you get this? I want to say this to the Google executives. I want to say this personally. This is a message right to NSA, right to the military-industrial complex that is running this show. The generals, the fucking war profiteers, the Karl Rove, the NSA, the Mormon Church fucking on the take leaders, all of them on the take. Don't you understand? Don't you understand? Fukushima's the great equalizer. Don't you get it? Don't you get it? Don't you get it? The nuclear, you finally eat your own? You did yourself in? You think you're above it and your money's going to save you. It's not. Steve Chinese Jobs. One of my doctors was one of his doctors. And everybody says, well, what, Kevin, you're not afraid. I'm not afraid. I've been in a bone marrow transplant center fighting for my life, going in and out of a coma. Fukushima's going to give you leukemia, it's going to give you leukemia. Now, Google has came to me and admitted, they are admitting now. I got an email. They're admitting that they've been sequestering view counts the entire career of my, they admitted it now. Stuff tagged in Europe or whatever, weren't counting them. They're admitting it now. They're admitting it now because quarter over quarter growth. They're losing money. And by the way, I would short Google stock so big time right now. They're panicking. because they peaked out and their stock's overpriced. They know it. They know that they're losing their ass, so they're taking it out on their AdSense people. They're abusing the fuck out of you. You know, and they're abusing, well, every time I get a flyer, I call them a flyer, a really hot video that goes viral all over the world, like those ones I did at the temple. They went, I mean, immediately. So hot it was unreal, they crash them. They default to me. They did it again. They did it again. The lake video, that thing went by. It's been tagged all over the world. I've been getting phone calls all over the world talking to me about how dramatic, because this is epic, epic. And this is a thumbprint. The Great Salt Lake's the lowest it's been in its history. Ever, in the history of Earth. In the history of Earth. The Great Inland Sea. It is the thumbprint of the drought. The heat coming off Fukushima has created a bubble over the western United States. As I said, it's nuclear fission, and you think about all these anti-nuclear activists. The main event happened. Our worst fears happened. Our worst fears, anti-nuclear, always a nuclear meltdown. And you people say, oh, it's not a meltdown, the Koreans all bullshit, then why do you think they're still dropping water on it? They're hot, they're freaking melt, they can't get near them. Yeah, there's a lot of it in the sea. A lot of it blew up and hammered us right here. That's how I got leukemia. You know, my father nuked to death. And I will say this, when the 800,000 military personnel in Japan realized that they got human lab ratted, they knew when they sent it, they knew, the Admiral had said it himself, he admitted it over and over. U.S. Reagan trial, he admitted it over and over. The emails, we have them, we proved it. He admitted it. We want them evacuated, they admitted it. They knew, they human lab ratted, just like they did my dad at San Onofre. This place is evil. And I will say you 200 million who call yourselves Christian in the United States, wow, you are Satan and you are devils. Olstein's on the take. Rick Warner, it's Operation Fire. They were paid to lead the flocks to the opposite of anything that Jesus stood for. You know, and I'm not that religious, but I know what he stood for, and I know what human rights activists stood for. I know what Hamilton stood for, I knew what Martin Luther King stood for, I knew what they all stood for, I knew what the Kennedy stood for, I knew what all of them that got assassinated and killed, I knew what Rachel Carson stood for. All these the greatest human rights activists in human history is Jesus Christ. You know, look what they did to him. Snowden told us they're going to kill you activists. He released a memo that he leaked. Greenwald won't leak anything. Why are you not? Because they know. Greenwald's a fraud, he's on the take. They're all on the take. Everybody's on the take. They've been threatened, oh hell yeah, but they're doing it for money now. Because they think they're project. You think about Greenwald, he says, oh, we have this smoking gun, we have this nuclear, we have this nuclear, we have this nuclear, we have this, we're gonna go. He hasn't released one thing, nothing since he started. He's war profiteering off the back of Snowden's work. He's war profiteering off the back of Manning, young Manning sitting in a prison cell. Manning did all the work. Manning did all the work. He's profiteering on. That's what they do. That's what Goebbels is. It Google Goebbels. It's fascism. This is grotesque and more military-industrialized complex. Far-right radical freaking who say they're spiritual leaders, the Mormon Church. I mean, they should be ashamed. They've led their flocks to the slaughter. They are the opposite. They walk around in hairspray. They have a brown person cleaning their toilet. They have a brown person for anything, paying in their cash, extorting. Everything Jesus fought against. Everything, every great Roman. We have tariff. What's a tariff? I'm a carpenter. What's a hammer? I'm a baker. What's a cake? I'm an anti-globalist. I'm an anti-so-called New World Order, which is old World Order. It was a neo-feudalism. They're back, the Queen. You know, it's almost 70 years, Yalta by the Sea, where FDR and Stalin were both poisoned. So the Queen's back. Skull and crossbones, skull and crossbones, skull and crossbones. The nuclear cartel at Berkeley, they are freaking poisoning the earth, but they crossed the line with Fukushima. Now, I'm not saying Fukushima was not, but think about it. You build nuclear reactors right on the greatest earthquake fault lines in the world. Who does that? That's insanity, right? No one would do that. It's almost like you know that there's going to, they did it at Diablo Canyon, Santa Barbara. They're sitting there full of fuel, and you don't see. The western drought is going to be epic, epic. And dust storms, mark my words. You know, prophecy, logic. I said all this from freaking day one, all of it. You know, I mean, I did a video telling you to get out of gold the day it capitulated at 1900. I did a video the day that silver, if I capitulated at 47, get out. I mean, there's hundreds of these videos that I prophesized exactly to a T. Logic? I don't know, but it's no coincidence that Facebook, social, anti-nuclear, and social activism all crashed simultaneously with Google Google at the exact same time. They're separate companies, right? Robert Scheer freaking told us. We know the N.S.A. right here. We know the Mormon Church is all in. We know that Olstein took money. We know that Rick Warner took money. They're the opposite. They teach the exact opposite. You know, do you think Jesus Christ was killing his own brothers and sisters in the Middle East? No Iraqi ever did anything. Nobody in Afghanistan did anything to you. But you drank the prophet. You know, you drank the freaking fake prophets. You've drank the Kool-Aid and you've went along with this. You're the opposite. We have 200 million devils in the United States. And you're big, fat, slobby pigs walking around. Jesus was no sloppy pig. These people took pride in themselves. They were workers. They were hardcore. They were radical. They were on the right side of logic. You know, and like I said, most atheists love Jesus Christ. He's the greatest human rights activist that ever walked the earth. And you, as so-called Christians, are the exact opposite. He didn't walk around with hairspray on. Okay, it's like I was telling down there. I'm ranting down there at the temple. Hey, Jesus, he exploited a brown person to clean his toilet. He exploited a brown person to make his bed, a brown person to clean his food. He walked around in hairspray. Jesus built malls. Jesus did all right, because you say you're all Christ-like. Isn't that the foundation of all your Christian belief system across this land? I don't care if you're evangelical, Mormon, you all say you're Christ-like when you're the opposite of Christ. Heal the afflicted. Feed the poor. Socialism by definition. Pull yourself up. When I was in California, I cannot overstate this. The tide pool's empty and dead. But even freaking as startling, the homeless population, middle-aged women, contemporary people living in the woods by the tens of thousands. You go to Santa Cruz all the way to San Francisco, it's downright dangerous sleeping in the woods. And there's women, middle-aged contemporary people are displaced by the tens of thousands. It startled me. It blew my mind. The exploitation in the salad bowl. These guys are picking fruit with mask over there. There's an organic farm sitting like this and a non-organic farm sitting like this. And they're spraying so hardcore, the whole marsh at Moss Landing's dead. They've issued a water warning to everybody in Hollister, in Castroville, in Watsonville. Don't drink the water. Nitrates in the water. You can't even drink your own water. What are they to do? There is no water. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable where we're at in this place. This is the most corrupt nation in human history, bar none, and you've all went along with it. The obesity epidemic, the freaking over-gluttony, all of it. Nobody has any pride in their dignity, in their soul, in themselves. They take no responsibility. It's all God's will. Tim shall thou mayest. You know, and your translation, makes you fit. Jesus died so I could be rich. No, he did not. Absolutely not. I mean, my suggestion, and I'm not that religious, I'm just going off on human rights activism and what's right and wrong. We all know. My suggestion to all you people that attend a church on a regular basis, and this is Karl Rove, he says we hijack and we kidnap the evangelical leaders and the Mormon church leaders, we can hijack the country. Karl Rove said it, he did it. He, you know, treason on Balco. He admits he stole the election in 2002. He admits it freely. He laughs about it, he jokes right here, right here. We ran him out right here. You know, there we go with the fire going up. I mean, that's going to happen all over here. The lake, all the way, you can walk. Kit Carson's Cross is right there. That's Fremont. That's where I live. I live right on the edge. Grew up, born and raised there my whole life. There are toxins rising up the lake. We don't even know what they are. You're going to see epic. I came across Nevada. It's epic. It's on. And the Pacific Ocean and it all ties to Fukushima. I'm here to tell you. You got a nuclear. Everybody says, oh, no, no. Come on. Hello. At least a triple meltdown. At least our worst fears by many, many hundreds of times. Probably 7 meltdowns. And yet the anti-nuclear establishment, they're all not that bad. That proves they're not anti-nuclear, which I knew that all the way. They're war profiteers. They built themselves a cushy life. Cam Buser has blown millions of dollars. He has no PhD. They're not. They're frauds. I do. I do. Oh, I earned mine walking up the coast. I earned mine out in the street. And I would say this to my brothers and sisters in the Million Mass Branch. You know, we're trying to throw a tent over everything. Corporate, I call it post-ignorance, and I have from day one. Post-ignorance is everything, and I go right to the top. Nuclear, the great equalizer. One of my doctors was Steve Jobs' doctors, and I would say this to N.S.A, to all you establishment people that drink Kool-Aid. You spiritual leaders, you're not going to heaven, you're going to hell. If that book is true, and Christianity is true, and I'm not saying it is or it is not, I'm not saying any faith is or not, but we know on all spiritual, I walked with the Buddhist monk, he and I had to talk about all this. If it is all true, you have bared false witness, 1. You have led your flock to the slaughters, and you've willingly participated, gone along with it. You have bombed and mass murdered people in the Middle East, your own brothers, says Jesus would have not done that. Thou shalt not kill. Forgive them for they know, and they didn't do anything to you. Nobody in Iraq did anything to you. Nobody in the Middle East did anything to you, yet you slaughtered them. And you participated, and you got your gun, you know, and you went in all this, they sold you a bill of goods, and you're all, look, put it in a FEMA company, everything's going to happen when it already happened. The dollar crashed from 2003 to 2006, and you're still waiting for the main event. The nuclear meltdown of Fukushima 311, the great equalizer. You're going to get cancer. Just like Steve Chinese Jobs, and all your money's not going to save you. He could have been one of the richest men on the face of the earth. He was getting ready to freaking rival with freaking the Rothschilds. His wife may be well, I'll guarantee you, his wife is there. It's the richest woman on the face of the earth right now. Wow. His money didn't save him. And I talked to one of my daughters, Rob, who was one of his. They flew in team after team after team. And he knew. He was a smart dude. But was he evil? Oh, hell yes. One of the most abusive people to labor in human history. Steve Chinese Jobs. You're all about the usury slavery complex. Jesus Christ said no usury, no usury. Yet you all participate. You buy every piece of usury thing you can get your hands on. And then you wear hairspray and makeup and you go, he didn't wear hairspray. He didn't make up, he was a poor Jew. He was a craftsman. Remember? First they came for I was a craftsman, I was a plaster. First they came for the craftsman. You know, Paul Revere, the silversmith, they were protectionists. The first 8 employees of the United States at the port, Alexander Hamilton, they were abolitionists, were protecting their blocking cheap Chinese goods, the Tariff Act of 1791 before the Bill of Rights. You've all drank the Kool-Aid. You're all evil. Satan has a place in every one of you, 200 million people in the United States. You get a freaking gift for your soul to be sucked into a black hole called hell for time and all eternity because you've all went along with it. Not me. Jesus stood up against the machine and they killed him. Martin Luther King stood up against the machine, they killed him. Both Kennedys. And his son, by the way, John Jr., they killed them, all of them. Anybody that stands up, there's a long history of it. Yalta by the Sea. Stalin's words, as FDR died just 70 years ago, is they executed all the royals. They killed all the royals. One left standing. Churchill was out. No royals, no royals. The Atlantic Conference, the UN, they hijacked that. All nuclear, all nuclear, all nuclear. Cal Berkeley, Livermore, the head of the fucking snake. And if you can't keep up, that's not my fucking problem. It's not my fucking fault. I'm fucking giving you the information. Fucking, you have to do the work. Tim Shell. It's not the paint of the soup can. It's the idea to paint the soup can, but then you have to paint the fucking soup can on balco. You have to do the work. Jesus did the work. Martin Luther King did the work. He knew he was going to be killed. John Kennedy did the work. He knew he was going to be killed. He did it anyway. We have no men of integrity. We have no people. You've taken the easy way, and you've fucking done the opposite of anything Christian and logic. You have fucking led your fucking children, your unborn grandchildren, to the slaughterhouses. Nuclear radiation fallout all over this earth. No answer for the fucking waste. You drank the fucking Kool-Aid. When the sun and solar feeded this earth for fucking millions of years, it could have took over any time it wanted. And now Google. I say this to Google executives all. When you get cancer, you fucking will die quickly. All of you. You fuckers that have junked the Kool-Aid, Greenwald, all you fuckers, you war profiteers, every fucking one of you. You can't abuse this. When you get cancer, you will die quickly. I was given less 0.04 chance. I fight the good fight. We know what's right or wrong, and you all know. That's why you're all popping pills so you can't sleep a fucking night. What they've done, what has happened to Google and Facebook simultaneously. They crashed all the anti-nuclear, all the social media sites crashed simultaneously at the same time. It's no coincidence. It's no coincidence. He signed the executive order at Stanford, the mass murder of California, and now they come for the mighty blue Pacific, and it's all being well documented right as we start to get some serious traction. All the online social media activists, they crash them. It's no coincidence. Facebook and YouTube did it at the exact same time. It's heartbreaking. Where do we go from here? We're still in our last fucking platform. I don't know. But we fight on. Do what we have to do. We'll find a way because the light, it shines inside of us. Everybody says, Kevin, why do you keep going like this? And why aren't you afraid? Because he's told us that, Snowden told us that it was leaked out that they're killing activists. And they're going to kill activists. And you know, that's Snowden. He released a document right that said that. We know that. Because I've been on a bone marrow transit fighting for my life. For I've walked through I walk, literally. I walk through the valley of shadow of death. For I fear no evil. For his rod and his staff, they comfort me. I will fear no evil because they're giving us cancer anyway. And I'm going to fight logically. I'm not going to go, Johnny, get your gun. I'm going to fight with logic and reason and reality and the truth. And that's all I've ever been. All I've been is the truth. You can't handle the fucking truth. You can't handle intensity. That's your fucking problem, fucking not mine. You drink the Kool-Aid, not me. I'm not going to let my fucking soul be sucked into a black hole for time and eternity. I'm not going to abuse my children and unground for future generations. I'm not going to drink the Kool-Aid because they said so. Fuck them. Stay tuned.